Is being fat a choice? Can fitness become an obsession? Are fit people more attractive? Is the word fat offensive? Am I satisfied with my body? Today, we are answering all of those questions with the help of Counterpoint and my friend, the Cynical Dude. We will discuss our opinions and also comment on the opinions of others. Ready? Let's go. So this is a Counterpoint video, and it's comparing body positivity people and gym goers against 5 different questions about obesity and fitness. So I think it would be fun if Sin and I each tried to respond to the questions as well and give our commentary to the other responses as we go.
That sounds like a good idea to me. I am ready to respond to this video and give my input. I'm
Alrighty.
somewhat of a gym goer myself. I've been known to lift a weight occasionally.
I might have lifted 1 or 2. We'll see.
I did lift one once as well. That makes us pros. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm your host, Ryan. On this side, we have gym goers, and on this side, we have supporters of body acceptance. Being fat or skinny is a choice.
So I was a wrestler my whole life, constantly dieting my whole entire life. I mean, at this point now, I'm not wrestling anymore, so I don't have to worry about it as much. But I think it just comes down to the fact of it's just a calorie deficit. You want to consume less than what you're burning. Some people might have it easier. I'm not saying that, like some people might find it harder to lose weight. Some people might find it easier.
In your experience with the wrestling thing, did you always lose weight when you went into the calorie deficit, or was it different each time?
100%. And it might have been, a little too extreme to where it got to the point where it might have been a little unhealthy. But, at the end of the day, I was losing weight, and it could have been because I had a better metabolism than some people. I could have had an easier route, but at the same time, anybody can lose weight if you just put your mind to it.
Okay, I'm going to just stop after that answer because the next girl's answer is super long.
Okay, I agree with him that your body size is a choice, although not everybody has the knowledge about diet and exercise that other people have. Like, there is a genetic component that can make it more difficult, and it determines where we store the fat, but it is a choice at the end of the day, and you will put effort into things that you care about.
I agree that it is a choice if you have the knowledge. As you said, I don't believe that children have a choice. Fat children are it's a sad thing for me. They don't have a choice.
And also, a lot of those children, a lot of people today who are struggling with their weight came from a family environment that led them down that path.
Yes, exactly. And if that's all you know and that's all your parents have ever told you, how are you supposed to know any better? But what I agreed with the gym goer guy is that it only lasts as an excuse for so long. You cannot just cling to I don't know any better. Google is free. Like you get to a certain point. I don't know if it's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, at what point you can claim ignorance.
Yeah, Google is free and there is a plethora of knowledge available out there. And I would say if you have any complaints about where you currently are, that should motivate you to seek out this knowledge, especially. Like if you're cool, everything is chill, all right, whatever. But if you have nothing but complaints about where you're currently at, then perhaps you should seek out that knowledge and take the bull by the horns, as they say.
I agree. So there's another response well, actually, there's a couple of responses, but let's go to the next one. This girl talks for a lot, so I don't know if I'm going to break up her response into sections just because she does talk quite a bit.
Have a medical condition called PCOS. It's polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it makes it difficult to lose weight as well. I'm not blaming me being a bigger gal over that by any means. Also, one thing I cannot control is how tall I am. I'm really short, and that's also a part of this body acceptance thing. It's like that is something that I can change with only one thing, and that's wearing heels. And it's not the most ideal way to live, but like this is the body that I was born in, and the body that I'm so accepting of other people's bodies, but it's like accepting my own without changing so much about it. It's really difficult.
Okay, so she's saying that her PCOS is largely contributing to her weight as well as her height. She brought up her height for some reason. I would just say As in regards to the height thing, unfortunately, the shorter you are, the less you can eat before you put on weight. Like somebody that's 6'5" is going to need a lot more food than somebody that's 5'6".
Yes.
It-
The world is not built for the short person, especially the short woman. I did an interview with this girl Amanda a couple of weeks ago, and she's 4'10". So her dietary requirements, her goal weight is 100 pounds. 120 pounds makes this girl overweight. So imagine her world when she goes out to dinner. Everything is like built on the average man and she needs half. It's very, very hard. Even though I know that, if you're shorter, you should need less. Your body shouldn't be as hungry. I should not need to eat as much as my husband. My husband's a lot bigger than me, so of course he needs to eat more than me. But I do think that when you're very short, like to eat half or a third of what everyone else eats must be hard. I don't know. What
I
do you
think
think?
a lot of people don't take that into consideration, and that might be contributing to them struggling with their weight. They're like, they don't understand how much shorter they are than everybody else. Like, man, you can't eat as much as that dude. He's got a foot and a half of human on you. Like, that's a lot of extra person. Like, so it is what it is. If you're lazy like me, you might see that as a positive. You're like, well, I got to do less work now, right? Like, if I'm short, I don't have to put in all this work eating as much as all of these other people.
What is your commentary on blaming PCOS?
Well, I have heard that polycystic ovary syndrome is largely exacerbated by obesity. So, is it a case of the PCOS cause the obesity, or did the obesity cause and or is exacerbating the PCOS?
Yep.
I don't know, but I know that we won't know until we deal with this very real medical condition.
Yes. I understand it is a very real problem and it does make weight loss difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. And I have compassion for that. I also do think, though, that if you make weight loss a priority, you will figure it out. If you don't make weight loss a priority, you won't. But if it's very important, you will figure that out.
Interesting.
Okay, this is the rest of her response. She's going to talk for a little bit about control.
If I'm going to choose a salad, you bet I'm going to put a bunch of dressing on it to make it taste better. Or the burger just looks so good. Like here, I absolutely am going to eat that compared to the salad. I don't feel like I have control over it, that it doesn't, like, it does not feel like a choice. It does also feel good. Like the endorphins hit me and I'm just like freaking dopamine high. I guess I could be addicted to crack. So if my food is my addiction, which it is, I've wrote like long like notes in my phone about how bad my food addiction is. Like it doesn't feel like a choice. Like, but there's no place to go, like food rehab, right? It's not treated the same. It's just you're fat and that's your choice. Get up, you lazy thing. Gosh, I think of like when I'm like in front of really good food, and just being like a foodie in general, like trying different restaurants. Food is how I bond with people too. Like it's in our society. You go to a restaurant, you eat as much food until you're so stuffed you can't eat anymore. And that is how I eat almost every day. And it feels like I don't have the free will anymore. It freaking controls me. And to get up and have that same energy to go to the gym is really hard. Where I'm like, the easy thing is to do the, eating until I can't no more. And maybe that does make it a choice in a way, but I feel like I don't have the free will to make that choice.
Okay. Well, it sounds like she just talked about what her issues actually are, and perhaps it's not the PCOS or her height, but the fact that she's struggling with controlling the way that she eats. She said that food is a social thing. She wants to eat food that tastes good. Everybody wants to eat until they feel stuffed. She said she might end up being addicted to crack. So it sounds like the cause of her weight gain is perhaps not the PCOS, but the way she's having trouble controlling the volume of food that she's eating. She said it there herself. That's the funny thing. If you let somebody talk, they will typically tell you all of the reasons for all of their own problems. So you just say, so, what do you think about this? And just let them sit there and run their mouth for a while. And eventually they confess why they are where they are and how they got there. So, and I'm not judging her for that. I agree with her that it can feel like it's not a choice when you're dealing with a very difficult food addiction. But just like when you're dealing with other substances, the way forward is to abstain from that substance. And that's not to say don't eat food again. Just stop eating the type of food like fast food, processed food, cakes, cookies, all that type of feel-good food. Stop eating that and instead move on to healthier options.
I actually found it refreshing that she owned that she has a problem with food instead of going off on a tangent about other things. Because she started out with like kind of blaming PCOS, but she completely owned no, she has a problem with food and she lacks control of it. That's an important step. There are too many people in the fat acceptance sphere that don't take accountability. She took accountability. So I think that's a super, super good, insightful thing. What I actually thought of when I watched this is her attitude towards food is probably very reflective of the American population. That is how they eat.
Absolutely.
I think that we are also conflating overindulging with being a foodie because I'm a foodie. Okay. I am a foodie. I am a skinny foodie. Okay. I am a foodie though. I love good food. I love good food. I love the taste of it. I appreciate it. But I don't appreciate eating until I can't move. That don't feel good. That don't feel good at all.
So what are we calling a foodie? Like, I guess I'm a foodie in a sense. Like, I like to sample all different types of foods. Like, if I go to a buffet, I get a plate that has a little bit of all different types of stuff. I don't waste it. I only take what I'm going to eat. I take a
Exactly.
small little bit of everything and I try it, and then I go. I have like 7 or 8 plates because I want to sample everything. So I guess that's what a foodie is, right? You like to sample all these different flavors and stuff, not necessarily, I don't know, a lot of people I think are calling themselves foodies these days when perhaps it's something else, you know?
I don't think it's being a foodie if you're eating the blandest of bland, salty, sweet, greasy food that doesn't actually have flavors. And you're just eating a
That
lot of it. That's not
that's
being a
true.
foodie. When I would go to a buffet with my ex-husband, he would always call it my toffee fay tray. Because you know toffee fay, the chocolates, they got little divot things. He would say it would look like I'm going up there and getting a like filling up a toffee fay tray with like one little rounded tablespoon of everything because I'm like I want to try it. I don't want to gorge myself, but I want to try it. That's how I
Yeah, you
like
want to
to eat.
sample it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought that that was interesting. Okay, well, let's move on to the next person responding to this question.
Down to whether or not we have free will. In today's society, we don't have access to knowledge. And so a lot of us don't realize the foods that we're eating is bad. Whether or not you are eating healthy or you're eating like ramen noodles every day, we truly don't know what's in our foods. Unless you have that ability to break through that barrier of this is me, which a lot of people don't, especially in poverty. Like we don't have access to therapy. Stuff like that, like trauma can make a huge barrier between self-awareness and blaming the world. And so a lot of people just blame the world and they can't accept accountability, which could literally be impossible for them. So as someone I just graduated in 23 of high school, and as someone who's worked in elementary schools, I see how obesity has overtaken the system. When I was in elementary school, we did not have snack time. They have snack time. Multiple times a day, they get to bring their own snacks. And so I see the way that these kids treat each other, and I see the way that they look at food. Being in school too, it's such a structured system. And so when you get the ability to take a break, you overindulge. And so that's just the way our system in America, in the United States, is set up and how it's been set up since the schools were established. And I find it hard to say that we have free will to be skinny or be fat, because a lot of parents don't know how to parent their children due to the lack of knowledge, and they choose to shut them up with food.
Okay, that is the last response I saved for that question. So, what are your
Okay.
thoughts?
She said a lot of things. She said one part, she said that trauma causes people to put on weight, which I would say means that you are soothing with food in response to the trauma. And then she also said that a lot of people don't have a choice because they don't have the knowledge. And then she started talking about kids being obese. which I would agree, especially in the case of the kids. They clearly don't have the knowledge and they're just living the lifestyle that they were taught by their parents. So I agree with her definitely in that regard. But as far as not having the knowledge, if you seek it, perhaps you shall find it, if the will is there.
Yeah, I agree with the knowledge thing. In this day and age, we can't lean on it as much as like in the 1980s when there was no internet or like and old wives' tales got handed down and that's how what we thought like our that's where our knowledge came from and all the stupid things that our mothers and grandparents had believed. But for knowledge in today's day and age, I it's less of an excuse. For the children thing, I want to share a little story. Like, I was a very involved mom. My kids, not that I'm not still involved, but I'm saying my kids are big. I got one in university and I have another one in grade 10 in high school. So less involved because they're bigger. But what I wanted to say is I used to volunteer to do the school field trips all the time. It broke my heart how much better shape me, the mom, was than the kids. Like my kids are in good shape. I put my kids in sports. They both played hockey all the way through school. Like they were athletes. But the number of children that could not keep up on the hike that we were doing. I remembered like we did a hike. It was a 1 hour hike. How many of those kids, I'm talking about grade 7 and 8, had to pull them up the hill? Oh, it's too hard. I can't walk. They're all out of shape. Like, what is going on? The state of young
That is
people
really
is
sad.
sad.
That's
Yep.
really sad when you see kids that cannot do the basic level of physical activity that you can do when they are supposed to be running circles around you. I've been in that situation myself recently. Some family members were over, and one of their children was large enough to where they were having difficulty walking or partaking in basic physical activity. I'm like, hey, let's go outside and play, throw the ball, catch it, the frisbee, this, that, and the other thing. The kid was literally like, the frisbee would go 6 feet over this way, and they'd be like, and then like go pick it up. And I'm just like, oh man, what are y'all doing? But it's unfortunate that that's the state of affairs for a lot of people.
Yeah, like I remember if I was on a similar field trip to that, me and my gang of friends, we would have run away from the supervising parent and they would never have been able to find us because we've been fast. We would have been fast. We would have climbed a tree. We would have hid.
Right? That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to easily escape the adults, right?
Yeah, but that's not the case anymore. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the the discussion around trauma. And yes, like with trauma, people want to soothe their emotions with trauma, like sorry, with eating. They want to soothe they want to soothe the trauma by eating. Um, my feelings about this are what therapist is telling you that this is a good strategy? Because I'm someone who has a lot of personal trauma and I go to therapy. And my therapist will never, ever, ever tell me, Lydia, it's a good idea to adapt a new maladaptive behavior to deal with your trauma.
Yeah, that's never a good idea. I don't think anybody ever recommends that. Um,
It's going to
And
make it
it just,
worse.
if you were saying that you were soothing your trauma with various other substances, nobody would think that that was a good idea. And if we look at like the show My 600 Pound Life, a lot of those people have a very traumatic childhood, which is what has led to their eating. So what we're doing is self-soothing with these substances that feel good in the here and now, but later on have a deleterious effect on our health. Like same thing with hard drugs. It feels good right now, but later on, I'm like passing away, essentially. Just like people on my 600 pound life, it's not working out, right? And
Right.
people are very short sighted when they're soothing their trauma. Sometimes it's actually as simple as not engaging with this substance for long enough that it stops calling you. I've actually quit various substances myself, um, including alcohol, cigarettes, hard drugs, processed food, all that stuff. And that's where my experience comes from. My advice to people comes from there. You need to overcome your personal issues so that you may see the light. And then you
Yes.
may stop self-soothing. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, then you can stop. If you have no idea what even makes you tick, you're like an automaton. I feel bad, grab this. I feel this, do that. Then you will never be able to change.
I also think that if you pile on a whole bunch of junk food while you're in your beaten down state, and you're working through your traumas, those foods are not going to help your brain. It's going to make everything emotionally worse. It's not going to make you feel energized. It's not going to give you higher thinking power. It's not going to help you process the trauma. It's going to make you feel worse. And even if by miracle you get through that trauma, you're going to come out on the other end 200 pounds heavier, and then that'll might cause more depression. So I understand why you were overeating because you were traumatized. But I don't have the compassion to say, go ahead, continue on doing it because you're traumatized.
Yeah, I also wouldn't encourage people to do that. And I would also remind them that if you choose to do that, then where you end up is where you end up. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just pure logic. Like it sucks that this traumatic thing happened, but if you keep doing that, you will end up over there. It is what it is. Like it's very
Yeah.
black and white. Harming ourselves further isn't going to get rid of the trauma.
No, no, might make even more
It's
along
making
the
more.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we are on to question number 2.
Fitness can become an unhealthy obsession. As always, we'll have the people that agree come up now.
My personal experience, I have struggled with an eating disorder before, and when I was struggling with that, I know that I was eating, we were just talking about like calories in, calories out. I know I was eating less calories than I was exercising out. So I would eat like 300 calories and then I would burn off 400. And so exercise was a really unhealthy obsession for me at that time. And I
For
know
me,
that a lot of things influence me, such as like social media and the internet and things like the inspiration and pro and pro Mia sites. But that's what made me think that exercise was the only way to lose weight and the only way to become what I wanted to be.
so she said that she had an unhealthy obsession with exercise.
Yeah.
She was intaking 300 calories but burning 400. I would be very curious to see how she was measuring all of that. I don't believe that some people's bodies burn calories differently, at all. I do not believe that.
No. No, I think when people talk about someone like having a higher metabolism or that they're just lucky that way, it's the factors that they don't understand. That person has more muscle and muscle burns more than fat, and they've either worked for it or maybe they do have it naturally, but like that is a factor. Um, they might naturally have a smaller appetite. That doesn't mean they're not immune to calories. They have little thing goes, I'm done. I'm done. They have that thing working so they don't overeat. But the most telling thing that I found there was that she said that she thought that that was the only way to be thin, that it was like she had to be focused on exercise, and that she became obsessed with it because that's what she believed was how to lose weight. But exercise is like 20% of it. It's diet. Like,
Yeah, it's a very small part of it, and that's probably how she got caught up on that and wasn't seeing the results and started to become obsessive because she wasn't considering the dietary component, which is the most important thing. I said a long time ago in a video, I was like, what are the 3 most important aspects of weight loss? Diet, diet, and diet. I
mhm.
could sit here and never move ever again for the rest of my life and maintain or lose weight if I wanted. I could lose weight sitting here doing nothing. I don't have a high metabolism. I work out uh 20, 30 minutes 6 days a week, lift the weights. On the 7th day I run, and that's it. It's mostly diet, dude. I'm not running around. I'm sitting on this couch editing videos all day and chasing around after a kid. So I guess I do exercise a lot. But either way, your metabolism is something that you create. And like you said, muscle burns more than fat. So if you are 100% muscle, your body's just burning a ton of calories sitting there. You can actually eat more
Mhm.
because of your higher muscle content than somebody who has less muscle. So if you like to eat a lot of food, get buff.
The thing that I was thinking of is, just the fitness part. I feel like a lot of the things that were said might stem from other things. I mean, maybe like mental problems and stuff like that, or like people were saying social media. I think it could stem from that. I mean, there was a point in my life where I was addicted to going to the gym every day. Like it was the only thing I looked forward to with my day, and I wanted to go twice a day, 3 times a day, as much as I could. And at that point in my life, I felt better than I ever have. And so, I mean, I was addicted to it, and I felt great. And thankfully, I never, wanted to get bigger, wanted to get stronger, wanted to hop on tests or anything like that and, ruin my life. Things you guys were saying maybe stem from something else. Maybe there's some deeper problems that are going on rather than just fitness and somebody going to the gym caused all these problems. When I started hitting the gym more, it was kind of just purely just to hit the gym. I mean, I was going with my brother and stuff like that. So, I mean, had somebody to hang out with. And then eventually I started noticing changes. And so I just wanted to keep lifting. It was exciting to me at that point.
You said that you started to notice weren't doing anything else for the day, but you went to the gym, that you still felt good about it.
Mm-hmm.
At what point of you lacking on your other responsibilities, but you're only going to the gym, do you think it would still be acceptable, or would you start to dog on yourself?
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And, I guess at that point in my life, I was just a high school student, so I didn't really have that much responsibilities to really care about. Sure. Or I was in college, and so, I mean, college life, stuff like that, you don't really care about all that other stuff. So, I mean, it didn't affect me that much. But in this point in my life, if I was on that same, kind of wavelength and going to the gym, not caring about anything else, I think that would definitely take much more of a mental toll on me. So I definitely see what you're saying.
Okay, well, it sounds like the guy was asking him if his gym obsession actually started to have a negative impact on his life, and it did not. He was a high school student. He didn't have a whole lot going on. He had plenty of time to go to the gym, apparently. So that is where I would say you can easily measure whether or not something is an obsession that is harming you. Is it starting to have a negative effect on your life? Yes. Then perhaps it is an unhealthy obsession. If the answer is no, and it's only doing positive things for you.
Yeah. When he was giving his response and he was talking about as a teenager, and I'm like, well, then that means that I was addicted to figure skating. Because like I was at the rink 6 days a week as a figure skater during the summer, 6-hour, 8-hour days, personal trainer, ballet, aerobics. So I was a figure skating addict. Or was I just a freaking athlete?
Or you were just a young person that was passionate about a thing, right? Like I was a skateboarding addict, I guess, when I was younger, although I never got any good somehow. How the hell did that work out? The hell, I still can't even do a freaking kickflip properly and land it every time. That still makes me mad. I'm very bitter about that. I practiced skating forever, and I could never get really good at it. Sorry for that tangent, but
That's fine.
what the hell?
A side note, I think it was Kevin Hart. I could be wrong. In his book, he was talking about being at a swimmer's banquet, and he said at his swim,
What
he
the
was
hell's
swimming.
that?
No. Listen to this. It's funny as hell. He was on the swim team, and he was the only kid who did not get like a real award. But then he got the award for attendance, and his acceptance speech was something like, "This makes me the worst swimmer because I came to all the practices and won nothing else."
Yeah, you put in all the work, and that was the best you got. That's a bummer. That's absolutely a bummer. You tried the hardest, but got the least far. But here's a trophy.
Yeah. So back to the commentary. If you feel good and you're not letting any of your responsibilities slide, you're not getting yourself hurt, I don't think fitness can be an addiction. But I think that if you are a person that is letting your responsibilities slide, you can swap out fitness for binge watching TV, for video games, for anything else that's probably just part of your personality. If you were someone who is going to let something get in the way of you getting your shit done, that's a different problem.
Yeah, that could be anything.
Yeah, that could be anything. Like the person who's obsessed with going to the gym and not doing the dishes, not doing other stuff, could be the same person playing video games all day. I think that's more of a personality thing than, I don't think we should blame exercise or fitness as it's dangerous to become an addiction. I think that if it becomes an addiction to you, you're probably a person that becomes addicted to other things too.
Oh yeah, I would say if you develop a fitness addiction that you have a highly addictive personality. 'Cause that's not a very common addiction, So you just get addicted to stuff. Like that's what that means.
Yeah.
And also, if your motivations are dumb, Like, I want to be the most buff. I want to be the hottest. You're like, if your logic is really stupid like that and you're not about health or this or that, then you might pursue fitness in a stupid way. You might start taking tests or various other substances to look a certain way, and you actually go in the exact opposite direction of health. And you start looking
Yeah, we can't
that
call it
way.
fitness anymore then. We can't call that fitness. We can
Yeah,
just,
and that's because people's motivations were wrong from the start. I want to be the buffest. I want to look like this. I want to look like that. Your superficial motivations
yeah,
led you to a stupid result. You should
right.
have been a little deeper.
Oh, we're on to the next question. This one's going to be a juicy one.
Fit people are more attractive than plus size people. We'll start by having everyone that agrees come up now.
Definitely, I have had friends that like women on the plus side. I've had friends that like women that, to me, look, really small. One aspect other than just the looks alone is I think hard work is really attractive. And I think that most people find people that work hard is a really attractive trait. Whether you're a doctor, a pilot, you're a cop, if someone sees you're working hard, that's a super attractive quality to me. And that really is shown on the way you take care of yourself. I've seen plenty of people that are not fit, they're not fat, they're just kind of a normal person, but they're don't really have any other day-to-day activities where they have hard work. And I think the body is a really good, very first sight you get to see how hard does a person work. And I think that trait of just hard work is super attractive.
Ooh, what do you
I would
think?
agree that hard work is attractive. Um, and also, I don't know, a lot of people that are like, hey, accept me the way that I am. Why don't you love me in my larger body? Aren't actually attracted to people in larger bodies themselves. They've got posters of Harry Styles on their wall. You know what I mean? Like instead of like whatever thing that they espouse everybody else should be into, that's not what they're attracted to. Like, a lot of people want somebody who is successful, good looking, all this type of stuff. There's that classic trope. I want a man who's 6 feet tall, has a six pack, and makes six figures. All of those, except for the height, require hard work.
Yep.
So like that's that like who wants to be with somebody. I don't know. I'm not going to say that somebody that is larger is lazy or whatever, but everybody wants to be with somebody that is the best version of themselves or are at least working on becoming the best version of themselves. People are attracted to success probably because it was a lot of hard work to get there, right? Nobody's attracted to non-success.
I'm attracted to hard work, but I also have categories of where it has to be important. It doesn't have to be in my ranking, but you got to be in the ballpark. So I value my health and fitness. I value keeping myself in a healthy BMI. That doesn't have to be your number one priority. Maybe your priority is just I'm not going to be obese. I'm going to watch within reason. We have to be kind of close on some of these priorities. Otherwise, it's not attractive to me. And I will say that physically speaking, I had a fat boyfriend when I was a teenager. I don't talk about this much, but I did. And I
Why
wasn't
don't you talk about this much? Tell us the story. What happened?
because I wanted I was attracted to his personality. I was attracted that he was funny and he made me laugh. But for 2 years, I lied to myself and pretended to be physically attracted to him. It mattered, but
Was he a nice guy?
he was very nice. I was also trying to get out of my own head and prove to myself, you're not shallow. You're not shallow.
That's funny as hell. You took the not shallow challenge and realized you are shallow.
Oh,
Or actually, it's not even that. It's not that at all. People don't understand, like, a large part of what makes somebody attractive is them being an honest, real person. And when somebody is struggling with various issues, they're probably not at their peak level of honesty and being themselves and being confident in who they are. So it's not just the physical aspect at all. When somebody doesn't know who the hell they are because they're riddled with personal issues,
yeah.
that's not necessarily very attractive.
I also think that there's a biological part here. Like, of why we think things are attractive versus not. Like if there was no media whatsoever, we had no idea what everybody else thought was attractive, and you were put into a room with a bunch of people of the opposite sex or whatever sex you're attracted to, would everyone pick something similar? Or would we completely be different? Like,
Well, everybody would pick a guy in a mustache, clearly. But beyond that, I don't know. People might a lot of what people are into is somewhat swayed by the media and stuff like that. But ultimately, even with all of that, people seem to be by and large attracted to signs of genetic or physical health, right? Like your classic signs, the stuff that people have been attracted to for thousands of years has not changed whatsoever, and that's health, typically, in guys with mustaches.
yeah. Well, actually, I think that is the next guy who speaks has a mustache. I can't remember. Well, he's
I
gonna.
saw a couple good looking mustaches in that video.
Okay.
All right. I like that we're busting out the classy stuff.
I believe that my husband tried to have one for like a week, and I said no.
It takes a while for it to get in there and bush up right. I
Uh,
grew this as a joke and it just hasn't stopped.
well, it looks good.
Thank you. It literally is a joke. I grew this as a joke and then people liked it. So I was like, I guess
You're the
having
mustache
this
guy
now.
now.
I'm a mustache guy now.
Okay.
Need to take that hard work may not always present in a physical form, and so I know people that are doing very hard work, but it just isn't hard from a physical labor standpoint. But beyond that, I think the first thing we need to do is point out that it's all men up here that agree with this one. Like I think we have to point that elephant out immediately and say that's probably something that's societally related. That we grow up, like you said, talking with your friends, some that prefer this, some that prefer that. But I think our friends, especially in sports and things like that, locker room talk, I think there's a lot of pressure on men to have a girlfriend that is conventionally attractive according to whatever the beauty standards are at the time. Like I know that's how I was when I was a kid. I would assume that's how it is. And so, you have a lot of men kind of brought into this system, indoctrinated into this mindset of like, I got to do this almost like a keeping up with the Joneses. My buddies are going to think of me, a certain way if my girlfriend doesn't look a certain way. And so then they condition themselves to think. And then also society's constantly pushing that at us. You don't have different body types shown in different ways. There's very few people over time that have ever broken into the very famous industry that weren't of a conventional beauty standard because they're just shut out. They don't get the opportunity. I can say, with my wife, I've been together with my wife for 19 years, so I've known my wife at a range from, like 120 pounds to almost 100, almost 200 pounds. And, so like I know that physically, like I have different ranges of where I feel levels of physical attraction with her. And we've had those conversations, and she's said the same with me that, when I've had more weight on, that she's been less physically attracted to me, and it's just something that we understand that really, like you were saying, the bonding, it's the true attraction isn't about what we look like. Eventually we're going to be old and wrinkly at the end of the day. It's about what kind of a connection you have with that person is really what attraction is about. And I think that's why probably it's also more men up here right now, is because men are conditioned to not as often have that kind of a bond and have that desire to form that bond in that same way, where women, the way that they bond with their friends is much more emotionally connected, whereas with men it's much more physical, it's much more sports and outdoor activities, and it's not as intimate of a bonding situation.
Okay. Would you like to respond?
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the opposite that I think exists between men and women for the how attractive your partner is. Because I think that guys need to have like, well, don't need, but compete to have a good looking girlfriend. Whereas with girls, I actually did not want my boyfriend to be better looking than my friend's boyfriend. He's got to be like equal or a little bit under because it's going to cause fights. It's going to cause fights. If you have a better looking boyfriend than your girlfriend, it works the opposite way. It does. The other one gets jealous. There's fights. They invent things. Say, I saw your boyfriend doing something else with someone else, and I think he's a liar. It gets nasty. Girls, it's like you want all the boyfriends to be about the same, but if you want to be socially accepted in the circle, you actually want to have the ugliest one. If you have the ugliest one, you have friends. If you have the hottest one, you have no friends.
Well, I mean, then you have to weigh the pros and cons. Do I want a bunch of girlfriends who are trying to keep me down, or do I want a hot guy?
Yeah.
Time to make our choice, right? I
Yeah.
choose the hot guy. I'm going with him. Y'all can stop trying to hold me back, okay? I know you're all jealous because I'm with Mark. Okay, knock it off. But that's a weird, that's a very that I don't like that.
Teenage
I hate
girl.
how we're altering our relationships for the benefit of our friends.
Yeah.
You know, why can't I have a hot guy? Becky, stop trying to hold me back. What the hell? But
Yeah.
I do understand that a lot of people are caught up on what other people think, and that can actually prevent you from finding that special love of your life. Like that guy said, he's like, when you're growing up, you're worried about all your friends making fun of you for having the girlfriend that's not as hot or whatever. Eventually, hopefully, when you grow up, you just be with who makes you happy and you ignore all of these cretins
Hmm.
and their opinions, right? You guys are literally nothing. I don't care what you think about anything, like literally. I learned that a long time ago. If I'm going to be happy, I need to disregard what anybody else thinks about anything. First of all, you having an opinion on what I'm doing is very confusing. Go live your own life, sir. That's what I would say to anybody that has a negative opinion about who I choose to be with. I'll
Hmm.
be with anybody in front of everybody. I don't give a fuck.
Hmm. I had a question for you about when he was talking about his relationship with his wife and that they had a discussion and it went both ways. So I don't think it's not misogynistic or anything. They both went both ways about talking about at times when they were more attracted or less physically attracted to each other. And there are going to be some people that say that that should never happen because once you love someone, you should be attracted to them forever because you love them. Do you think that once you're in love, is physical attraction a thing?
Physical attraction is still a thing, and it's good to be able to speak openly and honestly with the person that you're with. Like him and his wife or partner, whoever, were having this open conversation, a very vulnerable conversation, and they told each other that they liked each other better when they were thinner. Okay, well, we should explore that. Perhaps we should start pursuing health and becoming the best version of ourselves together, right? I'm not saying that you can't love somebody as they age and their body goes through various metamorphoses, but if we both would like to be with somebody who's in a little bit better shape, we can put in the effort together. We might bond over this. We might go to the gym together. We might, yeah, we can bond over this. This can be an activity that we can do together mutually. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as you're not like, what the hell, you got old and fat, stupid, bye. Like that's dumb. We all get older and less hot than we were before, except for me, but everybody else does. And that's unfortunate for them. But for me, I just get hotter with age. Sorry about that. But it's good to accept the person that you're with, but why not? Why not work together and become hotter?
Yeah. As a woman who's had two kids, I don't know exactly where I stand on this. Like, I do believe that we should be able to vocalize things, but I have seen husbands on the other side of childbirth be like, too soon. Um, and pushing for the wives to slim down. Like, it's for me personally, like, it took me after having each child, it was probably about 18 months until I got my body back. Happens. Um,
Yeah,
I
it
don't need
happens.
my husband telling me 3 months after childbirth, "I'm not attracted to you anymore."
Yeah, that's not helpful at all. And
Like, just had your baby.
yeah, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with people being morons and not understanding that the human body goes through a metamorphosis,
Hmm.
if you will, when it gives birth, and then it takes time to get back to where we
Hmm.
were, and we might not get back exactly to where we were
Yes.
pre-baby, and that's it is what it is.
It is. But then there's also women that will say, but I had children. I'm like, your children are like 8, 9, 10. Okay. Like I had a baby, I gained weight, only lasts for so long. So like for me, it's like I don't like the men that you push it too soon. Like, well, why not? I'm looking on TV, I'm looking on the media. Everyone else can slim down. Why can't you? Look at that woman. She had a baby 3 months ago and she's got a flat stomach. I don't agree with pushing like that, but I also don't agree with, but I had kids. So did so many other women. Like, how many years ago? How many years ago did you have kids?
Well, comparison is the thief of joy. We will never be happy if we're always comparing ourselves to others and where they're at and where we're at. I don't care what Becky did. I'm doing this. Don't
Mm-hmm.
compare me to Becky. I'm cynical.
Right.
She can't grow a mustache like this. She can shut the fuck up.
Just for that, I'm gonna go find a Becky with a mustache.
Good luck. I've been searching for one my whole life.
Okay, now, oh, we're still on to question 3, but now we're going to hear from the people that disagree. Those were the agreeers.
I guess the real question is, does the size of someone's body have any pull on the amount of attraction you guys have for people?
It does not. I've never been attracted to a particular body type, but my boyfriend is plus size. We've been together 4 years in November, and he is the first person to ever truly look at me and find me attractive, truly. And that's something that I think everyone deserves, no matter what your size is. And it's really a good point that you had brought up that, honey, we're going to age. Well, you're going to have wives with babies that are going to be bigger. And what if, like, they can't lose the weight? What if they're not fit enough for you? You're just going to stop loving them? That's extremely sad. And because you're attracted to someone, like, I'm not saying people can't have preferences, because obviously everyone has their preferences, but it's sad that someone wouldn't look at maybe someone like me and be like, I wouldn't be willing to give her a chance because of the way that she looks and not who I am as a person. And that sucks because, like, people wouldn't even get the chance to know me before counting me out, which is terrible. And I think a lot of people feel that way. A lot of big people feel that way. Like, how am I deserving of love when all of the men just sat down here and said, I'm not attracted to a particular body type? That sucks. I also wanted to make a point of the very first thing that was said over here during this prompt is that people that do not go to the gym or have like a healthy lifestyle are lazy. So far from beyond what I actually live. I work a lot. I put a lot of time and energy into the career that I have. And to think that someone can take a look at me from across the room and say she's lazy because of the way that I look is so sad. It's truly so sad because I work a lot and I do a lot of things that pertain to me, my relationship, and my family, including fostering 2 children. Like, that's crazy that someone would just take a look at me from a glance and say she's lazy. I'm mad at that. That's so sad that society has brought us here.
Okay, I know that was a lot.
That was a lot. She said it's sad that some people are not attracted to her because of her body type. And that's just something that we have to accept as adults in society in general. It doesn't have anything to do with your weight. Some people aren't going to be into whatever it is that you are, and you just have to be mature enough to accept that. Um, that's honestly weird. Like, I don't need everybody to be into mustache guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saddened that not everybody is into mustachioed gentlemen. I don't know. That was a strange statement to me. And then she also said that she's with somebody larger, and that's the only person that's ever loved her for who she is and accepted her for who she is. But if Harry Styles came along, would you tell that guy to kick rocks? I unfortunately see people in a very, like, due to the experience that I've had in my life, I break people down to a very basic level of, like, in a very cynical way. I think that people are motivated purely by self-interests most of the time. And when they pretend not to be, it's a very hilarious joke to me.
I still manage to go to the gym. I work. It'll take a toll on my sleep sometimes, sure, but I have to be willing to take accountability and say, well, I was lazy at this. I think the people that don't go to the gym have to be willing to take accountability and say, I was lazy at the gym today. Did I go? Doesn't mean your entire life is lazy. Doesn't mean that it'll take away from those other aspects. But we do have to be willing to take accountability and say, I did these good things. You mentioned earlier I did these things. You'd have to take accountability and say, I was lazy about my fitness today. The same way you have to take accountability from yourself and say, I was lazy about my other responsibilities today.
I don't know if it's a matter of people being lazy or whatever. Like I've said many times, you prioritize the things that matter to you in life. If you think it's worth it, then you'll go ahead and put in the time to go to the gym or put it effort in various other ways.
So I pepper my videos with anecdotes, so you're gonna get another one. My parents were landlords and when I was growing up. And my father refused to rent to an obese person. Okay, this was the 1980s. He's dead. You cannot charge him with discrimination. I know that was wrong, but he did
You
it.
should probably cut this story out.
It's it's not, this was in the 1980s. Okay, well, we'll see. But his philosophy was they're not going to clean the house. I believe that your body shows what you decided to prioritize. There's a lot of people that are fat and obese that are not lazy in other areas, but health, physical activity, not even physical activity. Think about meal planning. If you want to eat healthy, you have to take the time to think about where you're going to be eating, go to the grocery store, make the right choices, and not do your Uber or your DoorDash and do stuff like that. It requires other skills that are not just getting up and exercising. The other skills about prioritizing, this is what I want to eat. Prioritizing, this is how I want to take care of myself. So if you're not going to prioritize your meal planning, your grocery spending, the time you're going to put into cooking, those are all the things that are not about the going to the gym part, and it tells me where your priorities lie. So I don't know. I
I
do
don't
think,
think that larger people are lazy. I think that perhaps they've taken approaches to weight loss in the past that were not very effective, and so it discouraged them, and so they stopped putting effort into that particular thing. I think that's what a lot of it is.
that's a really good point. That's a very good point that maybe they think that things should have happened faster so that when things didn't happen when they should have, like they exercised for a week and they didn't lose any weight. So,
Once again, comparison being the thief of joy. How come Mark looks like that? He's going to the gym. I went to the gym. What the hell? Where are my abs? Like a lot of people expect some crazy results really quick. Um, and they might get caught up on the results instead of being into the journey, as they say, right? We're not supposed to be obsessed with the end goal. When it comes to working out and eating healthy, there is no end goal. This is a lifestyle. This is a day-to-day thing. Like there is no end. We don't get
I
to
know.
an end and then that takes care of that. Like I'll go back to doing whatever I was doing before. Like, and I think a lot of people see things that way and they get discouraged. Like I was eating salads, I went to the gym, freaking nothing is happening. The scale is not showing any sort of progress.
Mhm.
Nuts to that. And I don't think that they're necessarily lazy. Like I said, a lot of people are hardworking people. Like that chick, she has a job doing all this hard work and stuff. She just hasn't seen results in this other avenue, so it's discouraging.
Right. That's very true. Girl.
Don't have a preference of body type. I'm very fluid in my dating preferences, and I'm very emotionally invested in the people that I date. So for me, it's a lot about if we have a lot of common hobbies or common interests, not necessarily if we have a common body type.
But do you think, interestingly, do you think when you look at someone and you're like, okay, do you actually sit there and think this person's lazy about the gym or this person's lazy? What do you think in your head?
I guess I really do think gym, but I do see why other people, I mean, like I said earlier, it's a visual representation of who you are as a person.
Yeah, like that one's easier to call out versus like, Gabe, you're pretty lazy fostering kid. Like, how would I ever know that, right?
Exactly, you wouldn't, but that doesn't mean that I couldn't be lazy in those aspects. It doesn't mean that I couldn't be lazy in family time or my other commitments.
What I wanted to draw attention to was the girl that first spoke about having what she's attracted to is emotional connection and having activities that you have in common. And I do think that your body size or your body type does tell on you a little bit what sort of activities you like to do. And me and my husband, we hike all the time. We hike, we take dance classes, we are active as hell. I don't know if I would meet someone who was built like that girl, for example, that would enjoy all the same things that I enjoy. And that's part of the connection.
That's a good point. She's saying that she's more attracted to people that she has things in common with. People with similar body types probably engage in similar activities, like you're saying. So that's a good point that she made, actually. I don't
Yeah.
know if she intended it that way.
Well, I think that she was alluding that you can't tell just by looking at someone.
Um, that's a little nutty. It's a little nutty to think like I have been 60 pounds overweight myself. There are various photos of this. I was literally at a BMI of 30. And I was not close to a lot of people that I've seen, and yet my activity levels were impacted. I could walk around and stuff, and I lifted weights the whole time. I started lifting weights when I was 12. And at various points of thickness throughout my life, it had nothing to do with that, but I was unable to do a lot of basic physical activity. It was really holding me back. So even at being only 60 pounds overweight, it prevented me from doing, I couldn't jog, man. I could not jog. I never thought I would be able to jog. I used to smoke back in the day. I quit smoking. I started jogging, and I was like, what the fuck? I can jog, dude. This is crazy. Like, it blew my mind.
There's a lot of videos. They say, well, I was, what's her name? Mighty Morphin something, whatever. She's like, I
Mighty
was,
Murphin Fashion. I
sorry.
know her.
Okay, that one.
I am familiar with her
I
work.
keep on wanting to call her Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, like every time.
I also grew up with the Power Rangers,
Yes.
so I was also digging her name too.
Well, she would talk about, well, how do you know how fit I am? I can do this. I walked around with my child. I did this. I'm like, but at what pace? Like, I can tell so many things. Tess Holiday has pictures of her with her child at Disney World and walking. I'm like, I don't think you're going to cover the park as fast as I can.
I think that we are seeing very limited bits of video of these people walking. Um, I can recall covering glitter and lasers, going on a casual stroll through New York to get a bagel. But it was like this crazy ass, like, I don't know, there was all this breaking down, stopping here, doing this, doing that. Like, I don't know. It's just, it seems like it was 800 times more laborious than just going for a casual walk, which tracks because when I was 60 pounds overweight, my thighs would literally rub together. You know that? I went to Six Flags with my friends. My thighs were chafing so bad that they were like burning, and I was 60 pounds overweight. I don't know if the weight just goes to my ass and legs. I don't know. But that was a thing. And I cannot imagine trying to do more than 10 seconds worth of walking as somebody with a BMI over 32.
Yep.
That sounds crazy. Like, and that's where the like, I just look different really starts to break down. It's really the limitations in your physical activity that start to show where we really are. I want to be clear that I don't care what anybody looks like, but if you can't do basic physical activity, perhaps you're not that healthy.
Well, I also thought like back in the day of doing the dating profiles and online dating thing, this is like I did web personals. So web personals is like from the early 2000s. That became Lava Life, and then I don't know whatever that happened after. But I remember in the dating profiles like listing like sports because I was very, very, very sporty. And meeting people that said, "Oh yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that," but they haven't done that since they were like 10 years old. I'm like, you still can't claim that you're that athlete anymore. And them saying, "You just have to get to know me and then you'll find out more and we have so much more in common." And I would feel like this is just delaying me breaking up with you. Because I can already tell you're not going to be able to come to Mount Blue with me, which I do almost every single Sunday, and hike up a mountain. You're not going to be able to do it. Then I'm going to feel like a mean or ableist because you can't keep up. And then I'm going to have to break up with you, or I'm going to have to say this isn't working because you can't do the same things as me, and I'm going to feel like a jerk. So how about we just don't do this at all now? Because I already see the future. I already know your life is not my life, and I want to date someone where we can do stuff together. And this is a really delicate thing because I feel like I'm judging someone on their body. I'm like, no, but I'm also judging them on common sense.
Well, people need to be more honest. If you're not a hiker, why are you trying to be with me? Because I'm a hiker. You like the way that hikers look, but you're not a hiker. So what are you doing? Go be with whoever is into the stuff that you're into. Like, A lot of people want to be, a lot of people just don't even know who they are, so they don't know what the hell they want. Like, which tracks. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what the hell you want. You don't know what's going on. You just see somebody like they are attractive, like, but they live a completely different lifestyle to you, which is probably why they look completely different to you. And you should stop trying to live. I don't know. People just are delusional. Like, when I see somebody that is attractive, I'm not just like, hey, you are hot, we should be together. I also see all of the flaws immediately. I'm somebody that sees flaws in people immediately. I see who you are. I know you're attractive, that's cute, but you also act like this, and this. So this isn't going to work. We're not even going to waste each other's time. More people need to be honest with each other like that. They're not. They're just like, you're hot, we should probably be together.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have to let go of this. Why don't you give them a chance? I'm like, I'm not going to give them a chance because I already know how it ends. And this is just going to delay the process, and I don't want to hurt you. I'll hurt you more by giving you a chance.
Yeah, it's just a waste of everybody's
I
time.
hurt someone for 2 years by giving them a chance. Okay. So
Don't ever give anybody a chance.
never again, never again.
These words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Well, don't waste your time with dumb stuff. If somebody is not themselves, then you're wasting not only my time, but your own time. You don't even know who the hell you are.
Think we're on the next question.
The word fat is offensive. What about it makes it offensive to you guys?
It is the word that was ever first used to me to describe me in a negative way as a kid. And that's just kind of always stuck with me. I haven't taken it and twisted it into like a positive where you can describe me as fat and I won't see that as offensive, because I do. Like, the first thing that you should use to describe somebody shouldn't be fat or thin at all. And it again, just sucks that the word fat is used in such a negative connotation that I find it offensive. Absolutely. But thin isn't used in the same way.
It isn't. Yeah, you're saying like if I was fishing, I was like, oh, like that's a fat bass. Like somebody would be like, heck yeah. Or if I'm like, that's a real thin bass, they'd be like, man, that ain't. But then when it comes to like humans, it's the context. It's always given with a negative connotation, huh?
Okay. This question I'm dying to talk about with you. Dying, because anyone I talk about who works in the space, we all say it online, but do you use it outside of YouTube?
Use what? The word fat?
Fat.
No. Outside of YouTube, I don't think about any of this stuff ever. I personally don't use the word fat in my day-to-day life. I am old school and I still think that it's offensive. I don't agree with the idea that we're going to take the power back from the word fat or whatever and start using it casually. I don't like that. I don't care for that. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, when she mentioned that she had childhood trauma that hit her, I just think that when we were little, even if you weren't a fat kid, fat was an insult. So, like, it's still in there. It's still an insult. I will only say it on YouTube. I will only use fat like as neutral on YouTube. Otherwise, I will say she's curvy, or maybe she has a little more weight, or medically she's obese.
If I were to have to refer to somebody's size, I would just say like a larger person or whatever.
Yeah.
I take the inoffensive old school route. But moreover, I don't really refer to people by the way they look anyway.
Yeah.
I don't typically hang out with people, so that's probably a big part of it, you know?
Well, sometimes you can't get around it. Sometimes it's like you got to meet meet so and so downstairs. Oh, who are
True.
they? What do they look like? Then it's like
True.
there's a lot of people, like, kind of have to
And
differentiate.
I like to go the super inoffensive, scared route. Like you're going to be looking for a human that's down in the lower part of the building. They might be tall, they might be short. I don't know. I don't want to remark on anybody's appearance. There is a human-shaped entity downstairs that you will meet. I'm just screwing around, obviously.
Well, I have like gone around saying that someone is larger and made situations more confusing. Like if I'm asking someone to meet someone who's in a coffee house and they are the only large person that's there, I'm going through details. Well, they have blonde hair, they're wearing a red sweater, they're wearing blue jeans. Like I'm trying to describe everything else, and the person like, where it would have been
That's
so much
funny.
easier if I just said the large person, like But
Well, that's how I would refer to that if I had to. I don't call people fat. I haven't used that word. I don't know if I've ever used that word. Maybe when I was a kid. I don't know. I don't really care enough to, a lot of people think that some of us have some sort of bias against larger people because we make videos about this topic, but it's not that at all. I have no sort of bias whatsoever. I feel nothing, luckily. I'm
that's
completely
why you're
dead
cynical.
inside for all of your benefit.
Initially, I thought of like our humor, and I think as humans, we bond with humor. One of the first like jokes that I heard when I was younger, and that we used to say all the time on the bus is, "Yo, mama's so fat," whatever, whatever. And I like would be like, before we play this game, y'all better not say that, because my mom, she's overweight. Everyone in my family is, so I've grown up. That's the immediate target, and those are fighting words. And so I don't think it's just a word. I think it's what surrounds it. And I think as kids, like we're automatically taught that we can make jokes out of people and we can use other people, and regardless of their circumstances, other people's looks as a way of leverage to make the room laugh. And I just think that we need to think about humor in a different way, you know?
And it really does just bring me back to my childhood. I realize that this is not therapy, but it brings me back to like the first time someone was ever mean to me on a playground. It was because I was a chunky third grader and they called me fat. And it really did stick with me. It's so incredibly unkind. And today as a society, we have got to be kinder to each other. And it may not be offensive to somebody else, but you should be well aware of your surroundings and who you're speaking to saying that word, because people do use it as humor.
Okay, I agree that kids are little bastards. And that's about that. Like they'll be little bastards towards you, whether it's your weight or various other things. That's just little kids trying to figure out their place in the world. I'm not saying it's cool. Um, but I remember the Yo Mama's So Fat jokes too.
Oh
We used
yeah.
to have a show on MTV called Yo Mama. I don't know
Hmm.
if you guys remember that classic.
Well, I got most of my Yo Mama jokes from Fresh Prince.
That was a great show.
Yeah, way back in the day. One of the things that kind of touched home to me is like when kids are fighting, like I didn't hurl the word fat as an insult often, but I will tell you when I did it, it's when I was being attacked. So I was a 1980s child. I was like the only brown kid in my whole school. I was always picked on. I was always bullied. And if someone came after my color, I was calling them fat. Not saying that made it right. It didn't, but this is little Lydia, the little child that was said nasty things about the color of me. I would lash out and I would try to hurt them back by saying that they're fat.
Well, when you're insulting somebody, your goal is to hurt their feelings. So you typically use whatever you think will be effective against this person. If I think that your issues are around this one particular topic, that's where I'm going. If you allow these words to affect you, that's because you allowed these words to affect you. But I can't hurt you unless you accept it. Like, I feel like if you try to insult me about something that I don't feel bad about, it will be ineffective. Only if I feel bad about this thing does it become an effective insult. So I don't know. That's
So I agree with that for fully formed adult brains. I think that words hurt little kids because their brain is not, the frontal cortex is not developed. They have nothing to combat that. The words go in, they sink in, it becomes what they believe. So I completely agree with you can't hurt me unless I let you hurt me with a fully developed frontal cortex for adults. But kids, I don't think their brain can handle it yet. I think that it just gets in there. And unless they have a good parent to talk to them, to get that garbage out of there and tell them the truth, that stuff can really mess with kids.
for sure. A lot of people were made fun of for various things as kids, and it stuck with them their whole lives. And part of growing up is just getting over all of that. When you start to become more confident in yourself, you start to value the opinion of others less.
Well said. Okay, now we're going to go into the people that are not offended by the word fat.
Like you said, though, with it being humans, I think there's a difference there because, like you said, people have feelings. And, you know, like me personally, yeah, I don't find it offensive, like, but I don't find anything offensive. And so that I have to understand is a me thing, not an everyone thing. So I don't use it because I understand that general societal norm is it's offensive. You know, like I understand that. But for me personally, it's not. You know, like I don't care. Like if you call me fat, yeah, I probably am. Yeah, you know, like I make good food.
I know for me, the word fat is not offensive unless it's directed as a slur. For me, I know a lot of fat folks in my sphere like to reclaim the word fat instead of using words like morbid or obese. They prefer the word fat, and I prefer the word fat because it describes what I am, not a category that doctors are putting me in to describe how sick I am. I know that there's a new movement going around in like the body acceptance sphere that is called fatagories, and what it describes is the different levels of privilege you have based on how fat you are. And so there's things like small fat, mid fat, super fat, and death fat. And death fat was coined in 2008 to describe folks that are so overweight that they're at risk of dying. And so this is a way that we're reclaiming words such as the word queer, how queer used to be used very derogatory as a slur for LGBTQ folks, but now we're saying and identifying as queer to reclaim that word. So that's how I feel about if it's offensive or not. So if you are a 1 or 2X, you are small fat. 3 to 4X, you are mid fat. 5 to 6X, you are super fat. So that is based on what level of privilege you have in the world. So someone in a small fat category may not struggle getting on an airplane, but someone in a mid fat or super fat may not be able to use even the airplane extender. So that's where that comes in, and like the privilege levels of like what fat means to different people.
You know, a lot of things in life are privileges, and you know, being overweight. In my opinion, I think that's something you can control yourself. So if you feel like you're deprived of this privilege, you can change yourself to enjoy that privilege.
I think that for me, I can only speak from my own experience, but the reason why I'm fat is related to trauma, related to medical issues, it's related to mental health struggles, it's related to access. It's related to a lot of different things and could put me in the category of one day being death fat, but I'm trying my best to like become a better person and like have a better mentality and stuff like that. So yeah, I think anyone one day could end up death fat. It's just these experiences you go through and what type of toll that takes on you.
Okay, so initially she said they have a phrase called death fat for when you get to the upper end of the fatness spectrum. Aptly named, I suppose. I don't know why. When you're various levels of large, you experience different levels of privilege. But when you get to this one certain size, now you have a serious medical problem, acknowledged by the very label itself. So why are we like acting like that's not a big deal? We're like, well, by the way, we're all different levels of privilege here until you get to, then you might get to death fat where you're basically passing away. Like, so I don't know how all that other conversation even comes into play when it's acknowledged by the very spectrum itself that the upper end of it is insanely unhealthy and dangerous. Like, so it seems like not only does our access to things decrease as we get larger, so does our health and quality of life.
But we only talk about the health at the end. It's like lack of privilege, more lack of privilege, more and more lack of privilege, still more lack of privilege. Please give us privilege. Oh, we're dead. What? Like,
right. So maybe, I don't know, like you keep giving you more and more privilege until you end up at the end. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is working out.
I don't think that privilege is the problem. I don't think the privilege is the problem. If we grant you all the privileges that you're asking for, you're still gonna end up at the death fat. Like, how we're not saving you.
It's
This
not
is
saving
what blows
anybody.
my
And
mind.
also, if you experience less and less access to things as you get larger, there's only so much society can accommodate, right? If the average person these days is going to be a little bigger than back in the day, sure, let's make a little bit bigger seats, whatever. I could get on board with that. I want to be nice and comfortable in the plane, sure. But there comes a point where the accommodations become deleterious to everyone around you. When your seat needs to be this size, now I'm bouncing around during the turbulence in this flight, in this giant seat. Not that I don't love a giant seat, I would love a couch. But that's not safe. And things that accommodate people that are super fat, death fat, whatever, are not accommodating to people that are not that size. So the accommodations actually start to push out the comfort of everybody else eventually. If we just let it just keep going with it, then it
Oh,
eventually.
I see a world of adult booster seats. You're gonna go to a restaurant because all like everything's gonna be really, really big, or you're gonna go on a plane, everything's gonna be very big, and they'll go, "What size of booster seat would you like?" Oh, you have a small bum, or you have a medium. We're all gonna have to be propped up like our children to fit in the seats if we keep on making everything bigger.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great idea. Um, and with the advent of GLP-1s, we've seen a lot of people already leaving the movement for various reasons. Like I've always said, if there was a button you could push to
Now there's an
change into that
injection.
thing that you claim to be against, you would push it. It's the I don't want to get into it. It's the lack of knowledge and willingness to put in the work that prevents a lot of people from getting where they want to be. But once again, if there was that magic button, they would push it.
Yep. I felt it very interesting that of all of the people that spoke, only that last girl got into the politics, fat politics, and told us about the categories that you and I know of that the rest of the world does not know of, and had to switch it to being about privilege. That will always bother me that instead of looking and taking accountability for what you have done to you, you want to sit there and say, being this size means the world does this to me and the world does that to me. Because that's exactly what the whole privilege conversation is. It's never about, I am here, I did this to myself, or like being happy that you did it to yourself, or sad or neutral. But it's a point of going, yeah, this is my grumpy podium and I can complain to more people. The fatter I get, the more people I can complain to. And apparently, when you get to be, what's her face? Fat, fab feminist, you can go and complain to the courts and get laws made about you.
I would say that it's a bad idea to assume that other people have had an unfair advantage just because they are somewhere where you are not. It's easy to be like, hey, you guys got here because of all of this unfair advantage you have when you don't understand that they've been putting in the hard work, going to the gym, doing X, Y, Z that perhaps you didn't feel like putting in. So it's easy to try to discount the hard work of others when we haven't put in the effort to be where they are.
That's very well said.
I am satisfied with my body right now. I mean, I guess the only way I can go about this is just saying, what do you love? Why are you satisfied with your body?
Growing up with body dysmorphia and only being seen for my body put me through mental turmoil for so long, being obsessed with the idea of being fit or having a big butt or having a small waist. And then I am so blessed to be able to have an open mind and see I'm literally fine right now. I can choose to be happy right now. And if I end up, getting bigger muscles in the future, I'm okay with that. But for right now, I'm happy where I am, and I don't need to be this or to be that to feel satisfied with who I am right now.
Okay. I thought it was interesting that this is the only person that came forward saying that she is satisfied with her body, but she also came from trauma, and that means to me she healed it. She actually healed her trauma in a healthy way and didn't eat herself, drink herself, gamble herself into more trauma and came to a place of acceptance. Um, I don't like using the word acceptance because it gets linked to the other type of acceptance, but like accepting who you are, not necessarily where you're at. I don't know how to say it. Like I accept that this is my situation, but I'm not accepting of not changing, or I'm not accepting of not growing. I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people throw around the word acceptance to mean I accept who I am right here, right now, regardless, which is good, but it's also okay to work at becoming the best version of yourself and changing the parts of yourself that you can change. There are some parts that we cannot change, like my ridiculous rage that causes me to fly off the handle continually. There's nothing I can do about that, but I could work on this.
Yeah. I have a lot of issues as well. I take pills for a lot of my issues, but sometimes sometimes I'm stronger than my meds.
I was just joking. My rage is a joke. I largely don't have any sort of rage. I feel nothing.
You're just dead inside. You're just a cynical facade
Well,
for the
I mean, it's not even that. You might think that it's a bad thing to be fairly immune to various emotions, but it's not. It's actually just a place of coming to a place of logic where I'm not having a guttural reaction to the stupid shit happening around me anymore.
right.
I choose to react or not. So I
Mhm.
don't know.
Coming from a place of Zen.
Exactly.
Okay, now we're going to hear from everyone else. Everyone else who I'm not going to play, well, I'll play them one at a time, but everyone else who hates their body.
I feel like a lot of people hate themselves in various ways.
Yeah, for me, it's been a continuous thing. I'm definitely not as fit as I was in the past, but even when I was like in my best shape, I still felt like I could be a little bit better. And it could be a bad thing, it could be a good thing. At the same time, I think once you become comfortable in something, that's when you stop improving. And so to me, it's always good to be uncomfortable.
I think for me, it's probably just been that struggle of just always, having issues with how I look, never feeling comfortable in my own skin. I've been super athletic, played all the sports, done the high-end army things, been able to do crazy stuff. And then I've been really obese. And I don't think at any point in time I was ever happy, but I don't think that it correlated either. I don't think that has anything to do with weight. I think that conversations like this where we sit down and we force these subjects out, I think these were probably something that were much more common among people years ago when we didn't have our devices in our hands to be able to talk to each other instantaneously. Like we actually would sit around and have a drink after dinner and, have these conversations and actually go deep on things.
So the first guy said he was not as satisfied as where he was before. And then the other one had like the fluctuations and that. I know that you said that you are happy now, but you also mentioned before that you were 60 pounds overweight. At that point, like, were you uncomfortable or dissatisfied with your body? Like, were you doing it because, hey, I hurt, my thighs rubbed together? That's not, or were you doing it because I'm a fat fuck? Like, what was it?
Well, my situation is probably fairly unique. I didn't, like a lot of people, I was delusional and I did not realize that I was as overweight as I was. I started to lose weight because I have a couple of hernias. I've been having horrible stomach pains since I was 18, so like 2 years now. Shut the hell up. And then
I
so
have a daughter who's 18.
I initially started losing weight due to a medical condition. And then as I lost weight, I started to realize I was like, wait a minute, I've been losing all of this weight, yet I am still not underweight yet. And then I got down to whatever weight and I was like, what the hell? Now I am at a normal weight. And then I realized that I was living a completely unhealthy lifestyle and I started changing the way that I ate. I actually started losing weight due to a medical condition. And then I saw what was happening and I realized, holy shit, I wasn't even eating food. Like, and then I started eating actual food and living a much healthier lifestyle, and I've maintained it ever since. And that's really the
So you
story of
never
it.
came from a place of dissatisfaction. You didn't look in the mirror and go, I'm a fat fuck. I need
No,
to do
that's the
something.
weird thing. I was delusional. Like many people, I was 60 pounds overweight and didn't even know. A lot of people are literally 60 to 70 pounds overweight, have no clue.
Well,
Like
that,
literally have no clue because you can only see the world through your own lens. Surely everybody else is going through all this shit too. Like that's the average person.
so I think for, I don't want to gender it, but I think that for a lot of women, they will they'll let themselves know or convince themselves that they're average, they're fine, they're normal. They're doesn't mean that they don't see skinnier and want that. But they've
That's not just
convinced,
women. We do
okay,
that shit too.
okay. Okay, maybe it's a human problem. Like, say I'm average, but thinking that average is fat, I still would rather be thinner, but I'm the same as everyone else. But that doesn't make
It's
it
really
good.
weird. It's a very bizarre place to be. I didn't think I was overweight in the slightest, but I could see that other people had visible abs and stuff. I was just like, oh, they must be doing all types of crazy shit or something like that. You know how when somebody is in a better place than you, or you perceive them that way, you will try to downplay all of their hard work. Oh, they just had it this way, they just had it that way to make yourself feel better.
Right.
So we all do that a lot. I was probably on some goofy shit. I never even thought about it. I honestly didn't give a crap. Like I don't know. I honestly didn't give a crap. I had friends that I hung out with. One of my friends used to call me a fat ass all the time. I thought he was just being an asshole because he was actually super scrawny. So I don't know. I was never lacking confidence, even when I was larger. I don't know.
My
It was never really holding me back.
my confidence is completely shot when I'm heavy. I hid from the internet for a couple months when I got fat. Okay. I stopped posting videos when I was fat. My fatness was broke my ankle, couldn't walk, sat on ass, ate sugar, got fat. That's the story. I never say I broke my ankle, therefore I got fat. No, I broke my ankle, sat on ass, ate sugar. But that's like, I take accountability for what I did. And I couldn't look at myself. I tried so many times to sit down in front of the camera and I'm looking at my face and like, it's not me. Because like
Well,
40 pounds, right? I could not make a video because every time I'm looking at that face, I'm like, not me, not me.
well, I don't know. I don't know why you would be drawing so much of your self-worth from your physical appearance, my friend.
I don't know. Maybe I should talk to my therapist. I have an appointment on Monday.
It sounds like you have some work to do, my friend.
Probably do.
I would
Actually, no,
have to charge you if we were going to get into this. I would
no,
have to charge
I
you a lot of
honestly
money.
believe that it's just like what the shit that happens in your childhood follows you through to adulthood unless you learn to deal with it. And I have a lot of shit in my childhood that I need to resolve still. Still working on it. Still working on it.
Well, a lot of people have that, and one of the things that people struggle with a lot is they think that all the bad things that happened to them or around them when they were a child are actually their own fault. Like, let's say your parents were scumbags on various types of drugs and all different types of shit like that. As you grow up through life, you might think, I'm not good enough. Mommy and daddy didn't love me because you don't have the wherewithal to see that mommy and daddy were just scumbags. It has nothing to do with you. Now
Hmm.
that you have children, you understand that if you did a piss poor job raising them, it wouldn't be because they weren't good enough to deserve love. It would be because you're a piece of crap.
Right.
So, in
Mhm.
knowing that, we begin to grow up and we stop internalizing all the bad stuff that happened to us, and we can see clearly that our parents were just humans or whatever the fuck happened, and we can grow and move past it. Hopefully, we all get to that point because a lot of
Yeah.
people are still caught up on what happened to them when they were kids as adults.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm working through them bit by bit. I still have a laundry list left, but I know we're kind of getting through them, getting through them. But I'm committed to it. Not going to adopt any maladaptive behaviors to cope with it. Not going to become an overeater or gambler or anything like that. Just steady, steady work at it. So the next share is interesting because this girl drops a bomb. I can't wait for you to see your reaction.
Since the third grade, I have never been comfortable with my body. And now that I have, big girl adult money, I'm doing things to change myself into a way that I think like I will feel my best. And there was never like an appropriate time where this was going to come up, or I thought maybe it would earlier. And I don't want to feel like I'm hiding it from anyone watching. But I've been on a weight loss GLP-1 medication for the last 2 years. I've been on like a semaglutide blend from a med spa here in Omaha, and I've lost 60 pounds. And I am happy with that because I feel better, like my back doesn't hurt, which I appreciate. One of the most vulnerable things that someone can talk about is their weight and how it makes you feel. I'm worried that I will never be satisfied. Like, I've done the laser hair removal to get rid of my dark hair. I'm on a weight loss medication to make myself look thinner. Also, it makes me feel better. And like I pay for these things with my own money that I work very hard for. So it's hard to be on the body acceptance side when I'm so accepting of other people's bodies. Like, just because it's not the first thing I notice about somebody at all. Like I've truly just think that the best things about people are what's on the inside. And I wish I could see that a little bit more in myself. Again, I probably need therapy, but I wanted to be honest with you guys because I have been losing weight for about 2 years now on a Ozempic.
I found that like we go through all of this. It's not my fault I'm fat. I'm being oppressed. And then I'm on a GLP-1.
Shocker. I am shocked. Okay, so then I guess you do want to lose weight, and you talked about having back pain and that being partially alleviated. So losing weight seems to be giving you a higher quality of life and helping with some medical conditions. So maybe we should focus on that and not focus on how people look. And I was caught up on the way this looked or that looked. If it's making you feel better, maybe it's healthier.
Yeah. Now I don't when she said this is right at the end, right? So the whole video, it's like it's not my fault. I have problems. It shouldn't make me more attractive. And then at the end, like if she said that she doesn't care about like body for attraction, that was her stance.
She did say that, and then she also said, I'm worried that I'll never be happy with my body, even though I keep losing weight. So you are caught up on the way things look, and you're projecting that onto the world. You're like, everybody else is just as caught up on this as I am.
Yeah. I found it pairing that with what long-haired mustache guy was saying about you have other issues that are affecting your confidence more than your body. It's your head, like exactly what you're saying. You're like she said she's doing laser hair removal as well. She wears high heels. She's taking Ozempic. She is too consumed with there's something inside of her. There's something inside of her that's making her completely dissatisfied with everything, and I don't think it's just her body.
No, she is drawing her self-worth from her physical appearance, which will have varied results. You know, if you're the hottest person on earth, sure, that might work out for you. But not everybody is. So some of you might have to develop a deeper personality than that and become interesting and develop yourself as a human being beyond your physical appearance. Like, and people, I don't know, people get caught up on dumb shit and then they wonder why they're living a very empty, shallow, superficial life. It's because you have prioritized that. So that's what you get, right? Like you go through your life, you're like, man, there was this one chick that I used to have really good conversations with, and we were really connecting, but she didn't quite look the way that I wanted her to. So I got with this other superficial chick that was hot. We did not vibe at all. Why didn't I get with the person that I actually connected with? You get what you get.
Mm-hmm. Very true, very true. Okay. I think I have two more responses.
Be the first person to accept anyone as they are and not focus on someone's body. But for me, it's not necessarily that I don't love my body or anything like that. It's that I struggle with like the happiness of being happy with my body. I think it's fine for me to accept my body and be neutral without having to be positive about it. So that's where I disagree with that. I feel neutral about my body, and that's okay for me.
I think it's Terry Crews said it best. Happy, never satisfied. I like that mentality personally. I've changed my happiness. It doesn't no longer comes from my body, but the work I'm putting in. Like, am I at least trying? Am I at least putting the effort in? Can I be happy with that? And yeah, I can. Do I make my weight? No, but am I trying? I am trying. So my happiness is more derived from that. Satisfied? No, I'm not satisfied. But I'll also never be satisfied. And I'm okay with that because I know that's what's going to keep me driving, pushing to achieve more. And I take that aspect to every other aspect of my life too.
That is all. I know I played them both together, but I'm going to address them differently. First thing was, she said, accepting of others and trying to adapt body neutrality over body positivity, which is probably good. Also can be dangerous because if you adapt complete neutrality, are you still going to monitor yourself for health problems? That's
And she also said something about not really being happy with where she was as well.
yeah.
So everybody who's on the acceptance neutrality side is unhappy, although the other guy was too. So
Yeah. What bothered me about her delivery, whatever, was that if you're not happy and it's a struggle to get happy, why don't you try to change? Like remaining the same and just trying to make yourself happy and doing nothing but just trying to make yourself happy is going to do a lot less than how about I try to lose the weight? How about I try to get in shape? Maybe that will help the happiness.
I don't understand the concept of trying to declare that we no longer have emotions about this particular topic. I used to care a lot about this thing, but today I don't anymore. I'm neutral about this now. Okay, well, that's weird because yesterday you were crying. And now all of a sudden somehow you just don't feel stuff anymore. Wow, that's real good. I wish I could just turn everything off like that. I don't really accept that as a valid angle. I think humans go through a whirlwind of negative emotions, and just declaring that I don't care about stuff anymore is just a display.
Yeah,
It's
I
easy to say you
I
don't care about this or that, but you do. Nobody just randomly stops caring about stuff. I'm not saying people should obsess on their body image at all. There are certain things that you do have to accept. You know, we get older, we start changing in various ways. Some of that you have to accept, some of it you don't.
Mhm. And so I want to go to the next guy because I didn't know if this was good or bad. Happy but never satisfied. I don't know if that's good or bad because there's a good side to happy, never satisfied, which means that you keep on pushing yourself to be better and better. But the happy, never satisfied could also be like how I can get and start picking at every little thing on my body and wanting it to be fixed. So, like, is happy, never satisfied good or not?
I don't know. I would say that a lot of people are not satisfied with where they're at, even if they're putting in the effort. Um, the dude is just being honest about, he's not really satisfied with where he's at or whatever. I think that's messed up. To put in work all the time, but constantly just be pursuing something beyond. The dude seemed like he was in pretty good shape. I could see it through his sweater, even. He looked like he was in pretty good shape. I will say that it's not healthy to just constantly be pushing yourself, even though you're doing all the right things. So hopefully that dude figures it out and learns to stop being so obsessive. Perhaps there's a dietary component that he's not considering that's preventing him from achieving his goals.
Do you think that now that we have Ozempic, in the near future, we'll get back to knowing what a proper like body mass is? Like I was I'm going to be throwing this into one of my next videos. I was watching an old Special K commercial. Do you remember Can't Pinch an Inch? The Special K
I do.
pinch
I
test?
remember hearing something about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
Special K thing.
the commercials, like it's the commercial was, this is the Special K pinch test. Can you do this? And everyone's pinching each other. It's like that, but that was how we used to talk about what is a healthy body weight. And we could openly say if you can pinch more than an inch around your waist, that is problematic. People nowadays have gone like so far that way. Do you think that with Ozempic, we're going to come back? Do you think we're going to have like the skinny bodies of the 1980s again? Do you like, are we going to have a Jane Fonda body like popular again?
No, I don't believe so. I believe the type of physique you get from Ozempic is not the same as the physique that people had in the 80s or 90s or like I have. I don't believe you will get this type of physique from Ozempic.
No. What do
No,
you think
I
we're
think
going
it
to
will give you, you will appear to be not larger, but that's about all you'll accomplish as far as, I don't know. I don't want Ozempic to sue me. So it
do?
probably makes you look snatched as fuck. Honestly, that shit probably is dope as fuck, son. You should probably buy it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think Ozempic is going to give you the type of bodies that existed in the 80s or 90s, although it will keep people slim.
Yeah.
I think that the definition that you might seek or whatever is not going to be found by just using whatever substance and not building up the physique as well.
Do you think that obesity rates are going to continue to go down?
Obesity rights?
Rates.
Oh, rates.
Rates. Yeah.
No,
So,
no, I don't. I don't know what's going to happen now that Ozempic is out. I feel we'll probably stay about where we are. A lot of people will choose to use it, a lot of people will choose not to, and we'll probably about even out. I don't think we're about to see a society full of super thin people now. I do
No.
not. For some people, it doesn't even work. Some people try it and they're like, oh, still not losing weight.
Well, if you constantly eat, that's what I've been told. If you constantly eat, like you could have, if you have like a teaspoon of peanut butter every hour, that could add up. Like if you are a grazer, or if you just choose really, really high calorie foods, you can only eat that much, but if it's super high fat,
Well, that's true. You could also undo like, weight loss surgery. So anything is possible to undo if you don't at least put in some type of effort. So
what do you see the future of fat acceptance?
I see the movement as likely moving forward. I don't see any end in sight. Um, there have been many strides made. There have been anti-discrimination laws passed and things like that. I think it's going to continue moving forward. I don't think it's going anywhere.
And do you think this will be a negative thing for society, or do you think that the gym goers and the bopos are going to finally find a meet in the middle eventually?
Um, I don't think that anybody's ever going to meet in the middle. I think that everybody is going to continue doing what they want to do and then using whatever means to justify it, right? Like everybody's like, oh, I'm here and it's the reason of this, that, and the other thing. People are going to continue doing that. The people on the other side are going to continue arguing. I see no progress being made.
One thing that I will say that I think fat acceptance has progressed since I started covering this niche is accountability. Because I do believe that there was way more content several years ago about like it's magic. It's causation, correlation, it's trauma, it's environment, it's poverty. There was a lot of like not taking accountability. And now they might not say a lot. They might not say a lot, but even like Victoria, Fierce Fat Femme, I always get Fat Feminist and Fierce Fat Femme, those names mixed up. But she'll even say, "Yeah, of course I eat. I'm fat," and then just keep going. Like just acknowledge it for a second, and then on with their point. And even the video that we just watched, them saying, "I have, I overeat," can actually hear people saying that out loud. So to me, that's progress. Because I felt that honestly, probably the last time we talked, I guess 2 years ago, it was head in the sand. It was not my fault, not my fault, not my fault, not my fault. And I think that people are saying, maybe it is my fault. I don't care,
Well,
but maybe, like, yes, I do overeat. Like, I no longer have to make videos about I'm starving and gaining weight. Like,
it is interesting to see, and it's good to see some people taking that angle. They're like, well, I am the one that put myself here and this, that, and the other thing. Although they're also trying to play various angles at the same time. Like, this is the result of trauma, which kind of like shows that actually my results are, it shows that my response to the trauma actually
right.
caused this. So, like, people are talking out of both sides of their neck at the same time, but it is good to see them taking some sort of accountability.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm liking hearing that. Although, like in Tess Holliday's case, I wish she took the accountability before she wrote the book instead of after.
It is a little interesting to write a book encouraging teens and tweens to accept their weight, and then you go get on a GLP-1 and start losing weight.
Yes, that
What the
was
heck?
like
After we made that wing for you in that middle school test, what the hell? I'm still very confused by that. So confused about that. What do we got to do to get our own picture put up in a middle school? I got to
yeah.
write a book? The fuck? Too much work.
Exactly. Alrighty, so I don't have any more on this. Do you have any more comments about what we watched today or anything else going on in our niche or in our space?
No, it was good talking to you today. It was very interesting to see both sides of the argument, the gym goers versus the fat acceptance people. It was also interesting to see that some of the larger people actually admitted that they were on a GLP-1. So that's very interesting as well.
Hmm. I liked hearing and seeing the two-way conversation and how it wasn't always one side coming up for agree or disagree. There was overlap, there was acknowledgement, and there was accountability. And I found that even the ones that started off with less accountability got there eventually. Like the one who said, "Not my fault, I have PCOS," later on said, "I have an addiction. I eat too much." So, or even saying, "I eat until I can't move." Like that's acknowledgement and that's progress. We can't progress until we acknowledge our problems. So,
I agree. And it was good to see them both having a pretty productive conversation, it seemed.
yeah. And I mean, if they can do it, maybe our sides can do it. Maybe we can have like, I don't know, one of the fat activists come on and talk to us. Think that would happen?
Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know. I'm down to talk to anybody. I would love to interview anybody from the movement and pick their brain on various topics. That would be great.
Hmm. Yeah, I would too. And you know, I've been lucky enough to get some people that were in, and after they come out, will talk to me, but I can't get anyone who's still in it to talk to me, which is kind of sad.
It's kind of sad, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways, this was a fun conversation with my friend Cynical, and we should not wait 2 years to do it again.
No, definitely not. It's been a long time. We'll have to do it again very soon. I really appreciate you having me on, and have a good day.